The stars looked peaceful that night. From far away, no one could see the fire. No one could hear the screams. But just beyond Jupiter's orbit, Earth's last war fleet was dying. Captain Reese stood on the bridge of the battleship Liberty Spear, his hands shaking as red warning lights flashed all around him. Smoke filled the air, and the ship groaned like a wounded animal. His crew worked fast, shouting over each other, trying to hold the ship together. "We've lost shields on all sides," someone yelled. "Engine 2 is gone. Reactor unstable. Enemy ships in Cummington." "No, 20. Captain Reese didn't answer. He already knew. It was over. The enemy wasn't fighting to win a battle. It came to erase Earth from the stars. Outside, in the cold, dark space, the enemy ships moved like shadows, silent, fast, deadly. They had no flags, no names, no reason to talk. They just attacked. One by one, Earth's ships were destroyed. The Iron Dawn, the Gaia Hammer, the New Hope all blown apart. Fire lit the blackness. Escape pods flew out like sparks from a dying flame. But no one was safe. On the bridge, Reese turned to his second officer. "Send the code," he said. The officer stared at him. "Sir, the emergency code? Send it to them." Her eyes widened. "You mean the exiled ones?" "Yes," Reese said. Voice low. "They were dangerous, but they were ours. And if anyone can avenge Earth, it's them." The officer hesitated, then nodded. Her fingers flew across the controls. Hidden channel opened. Short ancient code was transmitted into deep space. Message sent. Seconds later, the Liberty Spear was hit by 3 plasma torpedoes. The ship split apart. Flames rushed through the decks. The bridge exploded. Captain Reese never screamed. He died staring into the fire. Far above Earth's orbit, the command station Atlas Hold watched in horror. They had received the last images. From the fleet, they saw the destruction, saw the silence that followed. A general stood in front of the command table, hands shaking. He whispered, "They didn't just defeat us, they erased us." A junior officer beside him asked, "Should we call for help?" The Galactic Council they watched, the general growled. They saw our ships fall, they knew what was coming, and they did nothing. In the shadows, an older woman, a former admiral, stepped forward. "Then it's time," she said. The general looked at her, confused. "Time for what?" She leaned closer. "Time to wake the sleeping giants." Far across the galaxy, on a forgotten moon orbiting a dead star, an old facility waited. No name, no records. Not even in Earth's archives. Inside, massive blast doors lined the walls. Thick chains held them shut. Every cell held a monster. Not aliens, not machines. But humans' forgotten warriors, the ones too dangerous to let free. Some were old war heroes who disobeyed orders. Some were ex-special forces who went rogue. Some were simply too angry to stop. One of them sat in the dark, silent for years. Tattoos covered his arms. Scars covered his face. He used to be called Commander Cade, but here they called him Rage. He felt something stir in the air. A soft beep echoed. In the silence, then a voice spoke from the ceiling, cold and mechanical. "Emergency code received. Earth has fallen." Cade stood slowly. His eyes lit up, not with fear, but with something else fire. Alarms began to sound. The chains around the doors started to move. One by one, the locks fell open. In the other cells, the others rose too. A woman called Ghost. A man known only as Hammer. Another one nicknamed Wrecker. Each of them deadly. Each of them forgotten. Each of them now free. The moon shook as the prisoners walked out. No one tried to stop them. No guards. No robots. No barriers. Earth had programmed the moon to unlock only when it was truly lost. Cade walked to the command room. The systems came alive. An old map lit up. The Earth sector blinked red, completely destroyed. He stared for a long moment. "Who did it?" he asked. A robotic voice answered. "Unknown force. Ships not from any known species. No warning. No communication. Pure extermination." Cade looked around at the others. They watched us fall. Ghost nodded. Let them watch us rise. Wrecker cracked his knuckles. Let them remember why they feared us. Hammer smiled. They want war. Let's give them hell. Far across space, the Galactic Council received the report. Earth's fleet gone. Earth's core cities vaporized. Earth's leadership silent. The message was clear. Earth was finished. Some aliens wept. Some stayed silent. Some simply turned off their screens. But the council didn't cry. It just moved on. This changes the balance, one council member said. We'll divide Earth's colonies. The humans had their time. Another one nodded. Perhaps now peace will return. Then a screen blinked. A warning. Signal from a dead moon. The room fell quiet. What is that? Someone asked. An AI answered. A prison moon has gone dark. Ow. All inmates escaped. Which moon? Codename Black Vault. Human location. No known survivors until now. Another screen turned red. Old human warship activated. Model. Titan-class destroyer. Codename Hellborn. The council chamber filled with whispers. Then with fear, the ambassador from the Zarn Empire stood up slowly. We watched Earth fall, he said. But we forgot one thing. The room turned to him. He swallowed hard. We didn't kill their anger. In the deep void of space, the Hellborn came alive. Engines ignited. Guns powered up. And in its control seat, Commander Cade leaned forward. Set. Course for revenge, he said. The stars would never be silent again. The prison moon was cold, quiet, and forgotten by most of the galaxy. It didn't appear on star maps. No ships ever passed nearby. Was placed on the edge of deep space, far from any trade routes or colonies. They called it the Black Vault. It was not just a prison, it was where the human race locked away its most dangerous soldiers. People who had once saved Earth, then became too violent to control. The guards had left years ago. Only machines remained to keep the inmates frozen in cryochambers. But when Earth fell, something changed. The emergency code was old, ancient even. It came from a backup beacon, deep inside Earth's war command. It was only meant to be sent when Earth was lost beyond saving. That code reached the Black Vault. The machines woke up, deep inside the moon. Cryopods hissed as steam poured out. One by one, they opened. Commander Cade was the first to rise. Breath turned to mist in the cold air. He didn't cough, he didn't panic, just opened his eyes and waited. The light above him blinked red. Earth status terminated. Protocol 99 engaged. His jaw clenched. He looked around the room. Other pods were opening too. Ghost stepped out of hers, eyes calm, white hair falling to her shoulders. She had once led Earth's top Black Ops team. People said she vanished during the final Civil War, but she hadn't vanished. She hadn't been locked away. Next came Wrecker, a giant of a man. His arms were like steel pipes. He had taken down alien tanks with his bare hands. He had once punched through a spaceship hull just to save a child. Hammer stood silently beside them. His eyes were robotic now, glowing faint blue, half human, half machine. In the old days, he volunteered for experimental upgrades. Now he barely spoke, but when he did, his voice shook rooms. Cade looked at them all. No greetings, no smiles. Just one sentence. Earth is gone. No one asked how. They didn't cry. They didn't argue. Ghost simply said, "Who do we kill?" The room rumbled. As the inner systems of the moon reactivated, long hidden corridors opened. Weapons lockers rose from the floor. Ancient gear, still deadly. Cade grabbed his black armor. It still fit. Ghost pulled twin plasma blades from her locker. She spun them once, fast and deadly. Wrecker grabbed a cannon that needed 2 people to carry. He held it with one arm, hammer. Walked to a console and placed his hand on the glass. The screen lit up. Maps of the galaxy appeared. Dozens of human colonies blinked red. Destroyed, burned, lost. But in the far left corner of the map, one blinked yellow. Ghost pointed. "What's that?" Cade answered. An old warship? One of ours? Still operational? Wrecker grinned. That's our ride. The map labeled it. HELLBOR. It had once been one of Earth's deadliest destroyers. But during the peace treaty, it was decommissioned and buried on a nearby asteroid base. No crew, no power, just sleeping in silence. Until now, inside the Black Vault, huge hangar doors creaked open for the first time in decades. Ice and dust broke free. Alarms wailed. Outside, a few old defense drones hovered, confused, and then the angry ones walked. Out they boarded a stolen shuttle and launched toward the asteroid base. No words. No fear. Inside the asteroid, the Hellborn waited, half buried under rocks and dust. Ghost activated the base systems. Life support. Working. Main reactor. Offline. Weapons. Locked. Cade stepped forward. Not for long. They entered the ship. The corridors were dark. Broken screens flickered. But the bones of the ship were still strong. Hammer plugged. Into the wall with a data spike from his wrist. Sparks flew. The ship roared. Engines powered. Lights returned. The Hellborn woke from its long sleep. The hull still bore. Earth's faded war symbol, an eagle holding broken chains. Underneath, someone had once carved words in old Terran language. We don't start wars. We finish them. Wrecker ran his hand over the symbol. She's ugly, he said, but she's angry. Long asleep, spoke in a cold female voice. Welcome back, Commander Cade. Crew authorized. Mission code detected. Earth, fallen. Cade stood on the bridge. The stars outside seemed to burn. Track who did this, he said. And bring us targets, the AI responded. Enemy ID? Incomplete, but we have their path. Traces of ion drives, plasma trail, direction, Zarn territory. Everyone turned. Wrecker laughed, but without joy. The cowards in the council watched. Us die. And now one of their own helped. Cade clenched his fists. Set course for the edge of Zarn's space. We'll start there. Ghost asked, what about the council? He looked at her, eyes cold. They will answer. The Hellborn left the asteroid base with fire in its engines. As it vanished into the dark, the Black Vault self-destructed. No evidence left. No warnings. The galaxy remained quiet, but somewhere in a far council meeting room, a message arrived. It was short. Only 2 words, sent from a dead ship, were awake. The Hellborn flew through deep space like a ghost, silent and deadly. Its black hull absorbed starlight. Its engines left no trail. The angry ones didn't want to be seen, but yet. Inside the ship, the crew prepared. Wrecker checked the main guns. He smiled as he armed the plasma cannons. Still works, he said. Ghost moved through the shadows, setting traps in case anyone tried to board. She placed charges behind panels, coated them with her breath, vanished into the dark again. Hammer connected to the ship's systems. Its glowing blue eyes scanned every corridor, every signal. We are ready for war, he said in a calm, robotic voice. Cade stood on the bridge, staring at a single red dot on the map. Their first target, it was a small base, just outside Zarn territory. It wasn't well protected, just a fuel station and a listening post. But it had something important. Records. If they wanted to know who destroyed Earth, they had to start there. As the ship got closer, Wrecker asked, "You want to talk to them first?" Cade shook his head. No talking. The Hellborn dropped out of faster-than-light travel. It's 10 seconds from the base. The Zarn didn't even have time to scan the ship before it fired, too. Plasma bolts slammed into the base's shield generator. It exploded in flames. Inside the station, alarms screamed. Zarn guards rushed to their posts, but it was already too late. The Hellborn sent boarding pods flying across space. They hit the station like meteors. The first one opened. Ghost stepped out, her blades already glowing. She moved fast, silent, smooth, deadly. The first guard never saw her. The second only saw a flash before his vision went black. Cade followed behind with Hammer and Wrecker. They didn't sneak. They kicked down doors and walked through gunfire. Wrecker's cannon roared. Hammer ripped a turret from the ceiling and turned it on the defenders. Cade reached the command room. A Zarn officer tried to raise his hands. "We surrender," he shouted. Cade shot him in the knee. "Where's the data?" The officer screamed in pain. "Locker for B. Red drive." Ghost appeared behind him. "He's lying." Cade turned, fired. Again, this time into the wall next to the officer's head. "Try again. Okay? Locker to C? Blue drive?" he cried. Ghost searched and found it. "This is it." He didn't wait. They left the rest of the station in flames. As the Hellborn jumped back into deep space, the fuel depot exploded behind them. The Zarn base was gone. Back on the ship, Hammer plugged in the drive. Information filled the screen-encrypted files. Old reports, trade logs, and battle records. Ghost read through them fast. "It's all here," she said. The Zarn knew Earth was under attack. They tracked the enemy ships. They didn't warn us. They didn't stop them. Wrecker clenched his fists. They let Earth burn, but Ghost wasn't finished. "Wait. Here's more. This says they sold Earth's location data. It's unknown buyers." Right before the attack, Cade leaned in. "Who bought it?" The screen blinked. Single name appeared. "Apex Coalition." Hammer whispered, "They don't take prisoners." Everyone on the bridge stood in silence. The Apex Coalition was a group of violent species. They believed in strength only. No peace, no mercy. They didn't care about trade or laws. It's only power. And someone had told them where Earth was. Wrecker slammed his fist on the console. "We were sold." Cade nodded slowly. "Then we'll return the favor." The next target lit up on the map, a weapons factory that sold arms to the Apex, deep in neutral space, protected by mercenaries. Pointed to it. "We go there next. No survivors." Before they jumped, a warning popped up. A message was being sent from a ship nearby, a tiny scout drone that had recorded their attack. Ghost looked at the screen. "It's trying to escape." Cade didn't blink. "Destroy it." One shot from the Hellborn's railgun turned the drone into dust, but it was too late. Elsewhere, in a hidden base on a gas giant, a Zarn general received the half-sent message. It only lasted 2 seconds, but it was enough. He saw the Hellborn. He saw Cade. His blood turned cold. "That ship was destroyed decades ago," he whispered. Another officer leaned in. "Not destroyed. Buried." The general stood. "Send word to the council. Tell them the angry humans are back." Back on the Hellborn, the crew sat in silence. Wrecker leaned on the wall. "Feels good to shoot again." Ghost wiped blood from her blade. "We're not done." Hammer said nothing, but his eyes glowed brighter. Cade stared at the stars. "They sold us out. They burned our world, and now they run and hide." Stood tall, but the galaxy's a small place. We're just getting started. The ship turned, the engines fired. A new hunt began. No one would forget what came next. The angry humans had returned, and this time, they had no mercy left in the blood. The station floated above a dying star, hidden behind radiation fields and dust clouds. No flags, no names, just a cold metal ring where deals were made in secret. This was the iron market. It was where mercenaries, smugglers, and broken empires met to sell weapons, data, and even planets. No laws, no questions, only credits. And it was here that the Apex Coalition made a deal. The Zarn stood at one end of the dark chamber, tall, proud, dressed in gold armor. Across from them stood the Apex Envoy, a massive creature made of living steel, with red eyes and claws sharp enough to cut ships. His voice was like grinding metal. "You gave us Earth," the Apex said. "It burned easy, just like you promised." The Zarn commander nodded, trying to stay calm. "In return, we want protection. No raids, no interference. We gave you location, codes, and defense maps." That was the deal. The Apex Envoy turned his head slowly. Deal accepted. But just as they sealed the agreement, a warning flashed on the room's screen. "Intruder detected." The Zarn commander's face turned pale. What now? Outside, alarms rang. Ships scrambled. Guards rushed to battle stations. One guard looked at the scanner and froze. It's Hellborn, the Zarn panicked. That's impossible. That ship is dead. The Apex envoy growled. It's not dead. It's angry. The Hellborn dropped from warp at full speed. Guns hot, shields up. No warning. It fired before the station could even talk. The iron market shook under the first wave of plasma fire. Hangars exploded, ships shattered. Fires spread across the outer ring. Inside, Cade and his team landed hard. Wrecker kicked the door. Open with a war cry, let's crash the deal. Ghost was already ahead of him, silent, deadly. She moved through smoke like a shadow, blades flashing. Hammer tore a hole through the bulkhead. Using his bare hands, Cade followed with a single goal. Find the Zarn and make him talk. The market was chaos. Civilians screamed. Mercenaries fought. But they weren't ready for them. The angry ones cut through them, like lightning. They reached the main chamber in under 5 minutes. The Zarn commander ran. But Hammer's drone caught him, slamming him to the wall. The Apex envoy stood, firm. You should not be here. Cade stepped forward. You should not have touched Earth. The Apex creature charged. It was faster than anything they had fought before, but not faster than Ghost. She moved in a blur, striking at its legs. Wrecker blasted its arm off with a cannon shot. Hammer slammed into it from the side, pinning it to the wall. And Cade. Cade walked up to its face and said, "This is payback." He pulled the trigger. The Apex envoy's head exploded. The chamber went silent. Smoke rose. The Zarn commander was the last one standing, shaking with fear. Cade grabbed him by the collar. "Why did you sell us out? I didn't decide it," the Zarn shouted. "It was the council. They said Earth was dangerous." "It's too angry, too wild," Ghost growled. "So they killed us before we grew stronger?" The Zarn nodded. "They feared you'd take over. Earth was growing too fast, too smart. You scared them." Wrecker stepped forward. "They should have been scared." Cade dropped the Zarn. "Get out. Crawl back to your council. Let them—" "We're coming." The Hellborn left the iron market in flames. The galaxy heard about it within hours. Pirates talked. Traitors whispered. Governments panicked. The humans, the angry ones, were no longer dead, and they were hunting. On a council world, leaders gathered in fear. An Oven diplomat shouted, "We must declare war on them. Kill them again." Tharn Admiral replied, "We already tried that. Earth is gonna end." They still came back. Drix ambassador said, "Maybe we can pay them to stop." But another voice, cold and deep, echoed through the chamber. It came from a human, an old prisoner the council had kept hidden, the last man they didn't kill. His name was Colonel Brandt. He smiled from his dark cell. "You don't understand them at all," he whispered. "You lit the fire, now burn." Back on the Hellborn, Cade stood at the center of the war room. "Now we know the truth," he said. "They feared us. So they made a deal to end us." He turned to the others. "They thought it was over." Wrecker grinned. "Let's remind them." Ghost looked at the map. "So many targets. Where do we start?" Hammer answered in his calm, robotic tone. "With the one who signed the deal." Cade pointed at the screen. A red dot blinked. A name appeared. Prime Council Hub. Neuraxis Prime. They were going to the heart of the enemy. And this time they weren't coming to ask questions. They were coming to end the deal. With fire and fury, the stars around Neuraxis Prime were beautiful bright blue suns. Glowing rings of ice. Peaceful colonies floating in perfect harmony. But peace was a lie. Beneath the planet's shining surface, the most powerful beings in the galaxy sat in fear. The High Council, they ruled silently from golden towers, far above the poor. They had once promised peace, justice, unity. But behind closed doors, they made dark decisions, like giving Earth to the Apex. Now, Earth was gone, but Earth's fury had returned. Inside the council tower, the Tharn speaker banged the table. They destroyed the iron market. They killed the Apex envoy. The Zarn representative was pale. That ship shouldn't exist. The crew should be dead. The Drix delegate hissed. We signed that treaty to stop this. We burned Earth. We made sure. A soft voice replied from the shadows. You didn't. Burn all of us. The room froze. One of the guards turned in, then dropped to the floor, throat slit. From the ceiling, from the vents, from behind the walls. The angry ones entered the council chamber. Ghost was first, her eyes cold, her blades wet with blood. Wrecker kicked the doors off their hinges. Hammer crashed through the ceiling. With a war drone behind him, and Cade walked in slowly, helmet off. Face calm. The council guards raised weapons. They didn't get a chance to fire. The Hellborn team moved like wolves. Ghost sliced through armor. Wrecker threw guards into walls. Hammer's shockwave crushed the room's defenses in one blast, within 60 seconds. Silence. The council lay, scattered, bleeding, whimpering, afraid. Cade walked to the center. He picked up the Tharn speaker by his collar. You remember Earth? The speaker stuttered. We had to do it. You were too angry, too unpredictable. That's called being human, Cade said. He threw the speaker to the floor. Ghost stepped up. Why the Apex? They promised peace, cried the Drix. We made a deal. If we gave them Earth, they'd leave the rest of the galaxy alone. Growled. So, you traded one planet to save your own? You betrayed us? Hammer said, voice filled with quiet rage. Do you think we'll let you live? The Zarn fell to his knees. Please, we'll pay anything. Cade looked at him. There's only one price now. Justice. He pulled out a small metal cube and tossed it to the ground. It beeped. Ghost nodded. Charges are armed. Time to go, Wrecker said. They left without another word as the angry ones boarded their shuttle. The sky behind them exploded. The council tower turned into a ball of fire. Neuraxis Prime screamed. But the Hellborn was already gone. Across the galaxy, news spread like wildfire. The council is dead. Neuraxis is burning. The angry humans are wiping out those who betrayed. Earth and pirate dens, smugglers raised glasses. They finally did it, they said. In deep bunkers, warlords sent peace messages. We never attacked Earth, they promised, in Apex space. The real panic began. Apex Command met in darkness. 10 of their strongest generals sat in silence. The leader spoke first. The council failed. Now we are the target. Let them come, growled one. Another shook his head. You don't understand? These humans, they don't fight for power. They fight for vengeance. You can't bribe vengeance. You can't outrun it. What do we do? Prepare every fleet, said the leader. Arm every cannon. Because if the Hellborn finds us... He paused. We burn next. Got on the ship. Cade sat on the A. Bridge. The galaxy was on fire. Panic spread faster than bullets. Ghost walked in quietly. Neuraxis went exactly as planned. Wrecker nodded. The look on their faces worth it. Hammer stood at the center, linking with the galaxy's datanet. Everyone's talking. We're not ghosts anymore. Cade stared out at the stars. They know we're here now. Ghost leaned in. Where to next? The ship's AI replied before Cade did. Apex signal detected. Coordinates locked. Right. Main. Fortress World. Dravik 9. Cade stood. Then Dravik 9 is next. Wrecker grinned. About time. Hammer loaded weapons. All systems ready. Ghost pulled her blades from the wall. Let's end this. The ship turned in silence. Its engines burned blue. No flags. No backup. No mercy. Just one ship. And the galaxy's last. Furious humans. Dravik 9 was not just a planet it was a fortress. Its skies were filled with defense platforms. Warships circled in perfect formations. The ground was covered in thick walls, turrets, bunkers, and mines. Every inch of it was made for war. This was the Apex Coalition's heart. No one had ever broken into it. No one had ever even tried. Until the Hellborn came in under full cloak, drifting in the shadow of a shattered moon. No lights, no signals. It was invisible, but inside the ship, every human was wide awake. Ghost knelt by her gear, checking her blades one last time. She spoke softly. We only get one chance. Hammer connected with the ship's systems. Defense AI is strong, but I can break it. Just need a virus. In time. Wrecker slammed a heavy shell into his cannon.
Ow.
No more warnings. No more talking. Cade stood in the middle of them all. This is where it ends, he said. This is where Earth is avenged. They launched. The Hellborn sent 3 silent pods, fast and small, through gaps in the Apex patrol lines. One slammed into a canyon wall and opened. Cade and Ghost stepped out, cloaked in shadow. Another landed near a vent system. Hammer crawled through, silently uploading viruses as he moved. The last landed directly in a weapons storage zone. Wrecker kicked the hatch open and began planting bombs. The Apex had no idea, until the lights in their control room blinked. Something was wrong, but by the time they checked the systems, it was too late. Hammer had shut down half their turrets. Wrecker had detonated fuel tanks, blowing open a hole in the western wall. Cade and Ghost moved like death through the corridors. No alarms, just silent kills, one by one. Room by room, finally. They reached the Apex command tower inside. Apex High Marshal was waiting. He was massive, 10 feet tall, covered in black armor. His claws dripped with poison. You humans just don't stay dead, he growled. Cade stared back. That's what makes us different. The Marshal roared and charged. He moved faster than anything they'd fought before. Ghost dashed left, slashing at his legs. Wrecker fired through the hole in the wall. The Marshal's armor deflected it. Hammer dropped from above, smashing him with full force, but the Marshal only staggered. Cade pulled out a blade, his last weapon from Earth, a piece of home, and with one clean move, he stabbed it straight through the Apex's chest. The Marshal screamed. Tried to crush Cade, but Ghost slit his throat from behind. The monster fell. Cade stood over the body. Earth sends its regards. Hammer hacked into the control terminal. A full map appeared. Bases. Supply chains. Every Apex hideout in the galaxy. Ghost smiled. We end them all. But then the ship's AI spoke. Warning. Incoming fleet detected. 15 ships. Closing fast. Wrecker growled. We're not leaving. Cade shook his head. We send a message first. Hammer hit a button. All Apex records were uploaded. All of it. The truth about Earth. The betrayal. The deal with the Council. Every system in the galaxy now knew. And they also knew who was bringing justice. The humans. The angry ones. As the fleet arrived. The Hellborn rose from the planet like a ghost from a grave. Guns ready. Shields glowing. It fired first. One enemy ship exploded before they even saw what hit them. Ghost flew the ship through a gap in the enemy line. Dancing between lasers, Wrecker manned the turret, screaming with joy. Burn, you monsters. Hammer overloaded. The enemy comes. Ships couldn't talk, couldn't call for help. Cade gave the order. No survivors. By the time the Hellborn disappeared into warp space, 10 Apex ships were drifting ruins. 5 more had fled in panic. Dr. AVOK-9 burned, and the galaxy watched in silence. Because this wasn't just revenge anymore. It was a movement from the mining moons of Avara to the ice colonies of Zorn. People whispered one name, Hellborn. The humans had returned. They were no longer asking questions. They were giving answers. In fire, in every world that once stood by and watched Earth fall, and now waited, trembling, wondering if they were next. The galaxy was changing. One planet at a time. Fear turned into doubt. Doubt turned into silence. Silence turned into shame. Because the truth was out. Everyone knew now what the Council had done. How they let Earth burn. How they made deals. With monsters, how they lied. Some races still called the humans monsters, but others began to ask a different question. What if the humans were right? And then something unexpected happened. A distress signal echoed across the stars. It came from Halvex Prima, peaceful science world, full of thinkers and builders. They had never made war. They had no armies, only walls of words. The signal was weak, broken by static. Please, anyone? Apex forces, landing now. We have children here. The galaxy heard it. No one answered. No council. No fleets. No allies. They were all too scared. Too guilty. But on the bridge of the Hellborn, Cade heard it too. Ghost looked at him. It's a trap. Wrecker nodded. They want to bait us out. Easy kill. Hammer added. No weapons on Halvex. High civilian count. If they destroy it, they send a message. Even the weak are not safe. Cade said nothing. He stared at the blinking signal. Then he spoke. Set course for Halvex Prime. No one argued. Because deep down, they were still human. They couldn't let innocents die. The Hellborn arrived hours later, diving out of warp above a burning city. Apex dropships filled the sky. Plasma beams rained down. Tall towers crumbled. Civilians screamed and ran. It was not a battle. It was a slaughter, until the Hellborn dropped in like thunder. One shot from Wrecker's cannon vaporized an entire drop squad hammer-deployed drones. That knocked enemy tanks into buildings. Ghost disappeared into smoke. Her blades turned bloody. Cade led the charge through burning streets. His voice rang through local comms. This is the Hellborn. Stay down. We'll handle the rest. The scientists didn't believe it at first. They thought the humans were monsters. But monsters don't stand between you and death. The Apex commander tried to escape with hostages. He didn't make it far. Cade found him near the science tower using children as shields. Back away, the alien growled. One step, an aisle, a blade flew through the air, fast, silent. Ghost's knife buried itself in the creature's neck. The hostages were safe. The city was saved. After the battle, the people came out, dirty, scared, but alive. One small child walked up to Cade, shaking. You, human. Cade knelt, his voice soft. Yes, the child looked up. I thought you were angry monsters. Cade smiled sadly. We are angry, but only at those who let your world burn. Child hugged him, and that one moment changed everything. Hollis went viral. The angry humans saved Halvex. They fought alone. They didn't ask for payment. They came when no one else did. In the days that followed, more signals came in. Not cries for help. Offers. Smugglers offered safe passages. Rebel fleets asked to join. Even old Earth colonies, thought long lost, lit up with new signals. We survived. We're with you. And something new appeared in space. A symbol painted on rogue ships and scratched into bunker doors. A red fist, wrapped in flames, the mark of the Hellborn, a warning to enemies, a sign of hope to survivors. But the Apex Coalition saw it too. And now they were afraid, because the humans weren't just fighting back anymore. They were rising, and with them, so was a galaxy that had once watched Earth fall. This time, the galaxy wouldn't look away. The stars were no longer silent. Across the galaxy, people spoke one name with fear and hope. Hellborn. Some called them ghosts of Earth. Others called them angels of revenge. But all knew one thing now. The humans had returned, and they weren't done. From the ruins of Halvex to the pirate moons of Zora, whispers spread like fire. Former slaves broke chains. Old enemies laid down arms. Even criminals painted the red fist, symbol on their ships. Something bigger was happening. Not just a fight, a reckoning. Inside the Hellborn, the crew stood around a glowing map. Red dots marked every Apex base. There were hundreds. But at the center was one giant red mark. The Apex core world. Trelix Prime, the heart of the monster. A planet surrounded by rings of warships. Minefields, satellites, and orbital cannons. No fleet had ever broken it. Ghost looked at Cade. You really want to go straight to the heart? Cade nodded. They burned Earth from there, Hammer added. It's suicide. Wrecker smiled. Good, that means they won't expect it. Cade's voice was calm. This isn't just a fight, it's a message. He looked at the crew, his family. We show them what Earth became when they tried to kill it. The Hellborn went dark. No signals, no warnings. It drifted toward Trellix Prime, like a silent arrow. But this time, it wasn't alone. From hyperspace, dozens of ships followed. Human outlaws, alien rebels, former Apex slaves who had stolen ships. They came from every corner of the stars, united by one truth. The galaxy had failed Earth, and Earth had come back. To fix it, the battle began like a scream. The Hellborn dropped into Trellix orbit, blasting 3 Apex destroyers before the enemy could react. Wrecker fired everything: railguns, plasma cannons, torpedoes. He laughed the whole time. Hammer's viruses shut down the outer ring defense platforms. Ghost and a small stealth team landed on the surface and began cutting deep into the command towers. Inside the Apex fortress, generals screamed orders. They tried to activate the Earth killer cannons, but the systems were locked. Locked by Earth. Ghost's whisper echoed through their comms. This is payback. On the ground, Apex troops poured from bunkers. Cade led the charge, red flag in hand, the last flag of Earth. He fought through smoke, blood, and fire. One soldier against a world, and the galaxy watched. They watched through hacked feeds, leaked comms, and pirate HOL. They saw the last defenders of Earth rise from fire. They saw Cade plant the flag of Earth in the heart of the Apex throne room. And then they saw it fall. Cade dropped to one knee, wounded, surrounded. An Apex commander raised his blade, but before it fell, Ghost appeared behind him. Her blade sliced his spine. Hammer's drone smashed down from above. Wrecker burst through the wall. Cannon roaring, they pulled Cade to his feet, and Cade said only 2 words: light it. In orbit, the Hellborn launched its final gift, a core bomb. It's forged from the ruins of Earth's last reactor. It dropped into the Apex Palace and everything turned white. Trellix Prime burned. Apex Command was gone. Their fleets fell apart. Soldiers surrendered. Others ran in one single strike. The monsters who destroyed Earth were finished. The war was over. Not because treaties were signed, but because the humans ended it. Weeks later, in orbit around a free world, the Hellborn sat silent inside. Cade looked out the window. Worlds were rebuilding. Survivors were singing again. The old stories of Earth were now told with respect. Children drew red fists in the dirt. Ghost stood beside him. We did it. Cade nodded. We reminded them. Wrecker walked in. Reminded them of what? Cade smiled, soft and proud. That you can kill our world, but you'll never kill who we are outside. New ships joined formation, different flags, different languages, but each one carried one thing in common: a little mark of Earth. Because now the galaxy finally understood, they watched Earth burn. Now they would watch humanity rise forever.